It's been a long time since I've uploaded any new YouTube videos. I've just been really busy working on a lot of different things, and it's taken me a lot longer than I expected, but finally getting some good progress, and I think I'm going to be in a better position to start doing some more consistent content here on YouTube into 2025 and get this channel going. So one of the series that I want to start doing is each week post a video about my top 5 trade ideas for that week. I've been posting these ideas on TradingView for a few weeks now, and you can follow me on there or go to these ideas, and you can copy these charts and use them yourself as well if you'd like to do that. But I also wanted to include a video with some more in-depth analysis on top of the text ideas. So number one is going to be NVDA this week. This is a 4-hour, and there's a lot going on this chart. Most recently, we have this head and shoulders, which I'm sure you've seen a lot of different people talk about on social media. I've been seeing it everywhere. It's pretty obvious. Lots of eyes on this. And we had this triangle, which was also a previous top 5 weekly idea from the low back in February. Got a nice breakout, big move, new all-time high, but has been struggling. In particular, recently, I would say it's been extremely weak considering what AVGO has done, and the Nasdaq's making new all-time highs like pretty much every day. And while that's happening, NVIDIA is just kind of falling consistently for several days now, and a couple weeks, which is very uncharacteristic. It's been market leader, and usually dips do not last very long. So we'll see. For now, we've also got this ascending wedge from the August low, and we closed below that. We closed below 131.50 as well. So that does not look great, but it could definitely be a bear trap. We've got FOMC this week, so a lot could happen. So gonna wait for more confirmation than that, but as long as it remains below 131.50, I like the short side. I think it could come all the way back down to test this triangle. It would be really nice, I think, if it hit the intersection at the same time. That would be a really good long. That would be like early January if it happened. But I think either trend line could hold, and if they don't, then next target's going to be down here to $90 for me, and I could have longer term targets as well, but that's a ways off, so just going to worry about that when it comes, if it does come. But as long as we don't reclaim, I think if we do reclaim and reclaim this trend line as well from August, I think that's going to be looking pretty bullish. That could lead to a short squeeze and just rip all the way up, new all-time high. So we'll have to keep close eye on that. I would target this trend line or all-time high for a long target if you wanted to long in anticipation of a break or look for a dip or something. But for now, just kind of waiting to see what happens with the broader market and whether or not it goes below 131.50 or not. So number 2 is going to be Snow. So this is a stock that's been really beat down early this year and made new all-time lows, but had a really huge, like 30% move on earnings, and has just been consolidating. It does have some weakness, but overall holding the low after the big gap and looking good. So these ideas are, you got to have more context as well, right? So if the market's bullish this week, FOMC's reaction's bullish, then I'm going to be looking for strong names like Snow to long, and as long as it holds above the support and really above this gap. I think if it enters this gap, it could be pretty bad. But as long as it holds above, I think we should expect continued upside for the near future. And so that's kind of the plan. And if we have a bearish reaction, well, I'm not really interested in Snow. I think it's a strong name, so I'm not going to short it. Even if it does break support, I'd rather look for something like NVIDIA that I think is looking a lot weaker. So that's kind of what I'm looking for with these ideas. And you can always have a bearish and a bullish path. I can't tell you what's if support or resistance is going to hold. I can just tell you how likely I think that will be. And if it doesn't hold, well then what to do next. So you don't have to guess before, you can wait. No need to kind of guess and gamble, especially before a volatile event like FOMC. So that's going to be Snow. First upside target's going to be this recent high and then beyond, and as long as it remains above this gap, I think it's looking fairly bullish. So Netflix is the next one, and this is one of the more bearish names in my opinion, because it does have this kind of broadening wedge break. It's really more of it's close to being a parallel channel, but not quite. I think this looks a little better on the 1 hour. So it's obviously bullish stock near all-time high, but it did have this trend break and it already failed on a retest. At the same time, though, ever since this break, it's basically gone sideways, so that's not necessarily super bearish. But if it does break below 909, I think that's going to be a good short opportunity. I think it can come all the way back down to 859 pretty quickly. So again, if the market's bearish, I'll be looking to short a name that I think looks like it's having a big support break like NFLX, rather than something that's very strong. And then, if it does rally, it could also be a potential short on another retest of the trend line and an all-time high. So that is Netflix. Next one is going to be VIX. I think I need to click on this one. So it's been interesting to see VIX rally into FOMC. This is kind of the opposite of what we've been seeing before volatile news events recently, like the election. We had very weak VIX, kind of just falling off a cliff leading into it. Same thing happened with CPI. We ended up with a big rally there. But this time we're seeing VIX get some strength. It has a channel break. It's got an inverse head and shoulders. It retested it and it ripped straight through resistance. It had like a small pullback, but I would see that as really strong considering that's the first retest. This is pretty major support from all the way back in July and the first time that it has retested since it broke. So you would expect it to fail, but the fact that it just ripped straight through it, I think is kind of worrisome for bulls. But we'll, again, don't want to guess before FOMC, just need to monitor it. But for now, it kind of does look like we're going to have a bearish reaction to FOMC, and in my opinion, because of this. But it might not. It could just be hedging. It might not play out. But as long as it remains above 1680, I think I would be careful with longs for sure. But if it fails, then probably just going to head back to the low again, and it's might be time for another melt up into the end of the year. So that is VIX, and lastly is ES. So ES, pretty bullish looking chart, honestly. It broke this wedge, but it's just gone sideways since. It's a bull flag, bullish consolidation. It's holding this 6113 area, which was near the previous all-time high. It's held several times, a couple times last week, just held again today. If you kind of zoom in, we had kind of a weak move, but then had a strong close, and it's bounced right off of the 6113 area once again, and even has a little bit of a channel break. So maybe we're going to trend up into FOMC. Who knows? But the target's going to be the top of the trend line, and then all-time high after that. And then if this does break, then we'll be looking for longs on a retest or dips. So that is kind of the bullish scenario, but if it does not hold, which honestly, even though the chart looks pretty bullish, I'm not really thinking it has a great chance to hold through this week, but we'll see. If it does break, I think that's a great short opportunity. You could look for a short on a retest, or just really anytime you see a good entry once it breaks. I think we should look for a move down to about 59.50. I have demand here. It's a previous swing low, so that would be the first target. Second target would be down here at about 5,800, which was kind of the launch pad before the election rally. So I think that will be pretty strong support. But if that breaks, we'll worry about that later. But for now, that's kind of the main downside target, with the upside target being all-time high, which is not far away, and then we'll be back to another blue sky setup. So overall bullish chart. I'm just a little bit concerned with what I'm seeing for bulls right now, but I'm gonna wait before I do anything too crazy. And if you don't like to use ES, just wanted to look at SPY here real quick. It's very similar, obviously, but you can see the same support level. It's about 602.50 on SPY, and then we also have 600, which I think could be important psychological whole number. Plus, it's a previous high that I would expect to flip to support. But for now, 602.50 is holding strong, and it's not made a lower low yet. So as long as this holds, it's still bullish in my opinion. I just think it's time to be a little bit cautious here as we go through this Fed rate decision. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the 5 ideas this week. Remember, FOMC IV is increasing a lot, especially with you see VIX rallying like that. So puts and calls are getting very expensive. I think you're paying a very high premium if you choose to buy before FOMC. So just remember that, and you don't have to guess or gamble. You can wait until after. You can wait for IV to cool off. If we have a down bearish break or a bullish break, there's going to be a dip or a rip for you to get an entry on if that's what you want to do. So I would say just take it easy, wait for IV to cool off, and give it a couple days to see what the market thinks about what Powell has to say. So that's pretty much it. But I think these are pretty clean, and we'll see if we can hit some good trades on them. Good luck.